Hey, all right. Sorry, I'm just about 24 hours late here on this, but this is my UFC 217 review. It was phenomenal, spectacular, fucking amazing, every fucking goddamn second of it. I'm only going to cover one fight that was on the prelims, and that would be the Corey Anderson versus, Ovince St. Preux fight. I've been something of an Ovince St. Preux hater. He's been a win one, lose one type fighter. Hasn't always shown the best heart, but you really shouldn't criticize this guy's heart. He fights more than any light heavyweight I've ever seen. This guy, I think, has had 5 fights this year, and he wants to fight in December. Like, he's a monster. Just wants to keep fighting. I don't know if it's the money or the competition or who knows, but this guy has the drive for the sport. And in many of his fights, win or lose, he was not doing well in the beginning. Starting slow, Corey Anderson actually, as a wrestler, was looking pretty good on the feet and was trading well with OSP. OSP, by the way, looked leaner than usual. Still a gigantic light heavyweight. Dude definitely still cuts a lot of weight, but he looked leaner, and he looked like his cardio was better. He got taken down multiple times, but he has proven that his ground defense is just about as good as his ground offense. And he held off Corey Anderson, but it was not a Von Flue choke that went down this night. Even though I had kind of OSP down on the scorecards, he let loose with like a switch roundhouse kick to the face. Just the left foot just came right up and flatlined Anderson. Just slept him. He was gone before he was halfway down to the ground. Destroyed him. Spectacular knockout. And there was a few of those tonight. Our first fight on the main card, Johnny Hendricks. 2014 Johnny Hendricks is not around anymore. He looked like he was in a little bit better shape for this fight. His cardio looked better. His striking looked better, but the guy has a very short reach for middleweight and low height. He didn't even have great reach for welterweight. And it really cost him in this fight. He still managed to put left hands on his opponent, Costa. This new kid, Costa, looks basically like TRT Vitor circa 2002. The kid is shredded and powerful and fast. But still, he took Johnny Hendricks lightly, and Johnny Hendricks, maybe if Johnny Hendricks had a couple more inches of reach, he would have knocked this kid's light out, because he landed left hands better than you've seen him recently. But no, this kid was too strong, too powerful, and Johnny Hendricks didn't have any real chance of wrestling him because the kid didn't let him get that close. And Costa started to tear him up. Hendricks, he was game. He didn't look like he was pussing out on this fight. He still didn't look mentally tough for the fight. Beginning, middle, end, press, none of that. But Costa tore him up, and Costa is a kid who's very likely going to improve. He's young. He's freakishly powerful, and you should keep an eye on him, and so should USADA, because holy shit. Ripped. Next fight, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jorge Masvidal. A lot of people thought this was a very dangerous matchup for Thompson. I didn't think this was a good stylistic matchup, actually, for Masvidal. Both of these guys are counterpunchers, and I was wanting to give this fight to the more aggressive fighter. And the more aggressive fighter in this fight was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This went to decision. Wonderboy won all 3 rounds. And a couple of the judges, or at least one of them, gave a 10-8 to Wonderboy. Wonderboy took a couple hard shots and ate a million leg kicks that he showed zero ill effects from. I believe Jorge Masvidal landed 40-something leg kicks, like not exaggerating. And it didn't affect the bounce in Thompson's step at all. Thompson was chewing him up with those crazy, like, fucking hyperextend your knee, fucking upside kicks and shit. Kicking him to the body, kicking him to the head. Jorge looked like he had no idea how to close the distance. He did land some of his badass looping lead left hooks. And he landed a million leg kicks, and he didn't get much else going. He only tried maybe one good time to get Thompson down. He didn't really succeed. And both Masvidal and Thompson are counterpunchers. And I thought that they were going to throw a lot less than they did. But both guys like to throw more when they get hit. And Masvidal was turning it on early, but first of all, Thompson had the reach disadvantage in the fight, but the way he fights with that bladed stance, he fights like he's got another 12 inches of reach over anybody in the welterweight division. He kept his hands down so much that I was so certain that Masvidal was going to tear him apart. But by the time Masvidal found his range, Masvidal was losing the cardio game. Thompson has cardio for days. Thompson is very, very high volume. Masvidal can be high volume when he wants to be. He seemed like he wanted to counterpunch more than Thompson, which is a rare thing. And Thompson was wise to just put the shine on him with lots and lots of punches, and he landed a lot of punches. The other thing that Masvidal didn't seem at all prepared to deal with was how much Thompson switched stance. Thompson was like in like shoot wrestling stance, classic, kickboxing, orthodox, and a hell of a lot of this karate bladed southpaw type shit. And rather than really kind of lead with the jab, Thompson threw some jabs and landed a lot of them, but really he would just come straight down with the left straight and then loop up with like these kind of corkscrew uppercuts, and he fucked Masvidal up. He did not finish Masvidal. Thompson, I don't know if he's too nervous at a high level, or maybe his opponents just take him way more seriously than they used to, or what. But Thompson is not, putting on those finishers, and Masvidal was never really at risk of being finished, although he got dusted up pretty good a couple times. But Thompson is going to have to finish his next couple opponents if he wants another shot at Woodley. Because he's not going to get another shot at Woodley. Really, I don't think. Not unless he cleans out the division, which he could. He really could. He's that good. And Masvidal is not done. Masvidal is actually younger than Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, even though Stephen Wonderboy Thompson looks younger than me. I'm not in the best shape for 29, but Wonderboy is 34, and he looks 24, if even. I also would really like to see Thompson round out his game more. I know he likes to train with Daddy, but I don't know. If he gets solved again, it doesn't look good for the remainder of his career. The guy's 34. And Gamebred didn't get hurt too bad. Gamebred only 32, but that was what, his 40-something, 44th fight or something? The dude, he's going to keep coming, and he's going to beat a few people. We'll see, because it's a murderer's row at welterweight. Our next fight, Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I am a big Joanna fan. Big. Huge. The Vegas odds were something like negative 600, or excuse me, like positive 600 for Rose, or it was like negative 600 for Joanna and like plus 450 for Rose Namajunas. Nobody wanted to give Rose Namajunas a shot. And I don't know what the fuck that was about. Okay, so I believe Rose has lost Jędrzejczyk before. Yes. Jędrzejczyk is 14-0. Yes. Very dominant champion. However, Thug Rose finishes people. She's finished 6 of her 7 wins coming into this fight. All of those by submission. However, if you look at what she did to Michelle Watterson, the karate hottie, kicked her fucking face into hamburger and then choked her out. Rose is a striker, no matter what her winning shit looks like with all those submissions. She's for real. And she's incredibly strong as a strawweight. And the thing is, Joanna had a lot of split decision 5-round wars coming into this. So, although I had the champion set to retain in my predictions, I thought those those Vegas odds were fucking laughable. And they proved to be laughable, as 3 minutes into the first round, Rose Namajunas launched a meteoric, retardedly powerful left hook for a women's strawweight. And not a big women's strawweight either. She was the smaller fighter coming in against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Just turned the lights out on Rose and then put such ground and pound on her to finish her off that Joanna Jędrzejczyk tapped due to strikes. Shades of a John Jones versus Shogun Rua type shit there, where the young challenger came in, starched the champion, and beat them literally, and I do mean literally, into submission. Holy shit, congratulations to Rose Namajunas, who is my second favorite women's strawweight, and quite possibly my second favorite women's fighter. So I was not sad that she beat Joanna, but I was cheering for Joanna. I really think she will be back. There will be a rematch. But holy shit, what a young, up-and-coming, rapidly improving Thug Rose. Next title fight, holy shit, did this probably shut some other people up. TJ Dillashaw, the Dwayne Bang Ludwig Muay Thai fighter, and Team Alpha Male traitor. But this was going to be very interesting because Cody No Love Garbrandt is a Team Alpha Male cultist. Hates TJ so much just because TJ left Team Alpha Male. TJ Dillashaw is a very nice, very soft-spoken guy. Cody Garbrandt is a very loud, very brash, gigantic fucking douchebag. Cody Garbrandt is a fucking asshole. Arrogant piece of shit, douche bro prick. But he backs every last bit of it up. Whether you want to talk about Dominic Cruz being hurt and kind of old and beat up in his fight against Cody Garbrandt made Dominic Cruz look like his bitch, which is something that TJ Dillashaw has not done. However, I believe that Cody Garbrandt might have been overly emotionally invested in this fight. He hates TJ Dillashaw in a way that TJ Dillashaw does not hate him. He is emotionally invested in this Team Alpha Male bullshit in a way that TJ Dillashaw is not. Okay, it's a real cult of personality around Uriah Faber, and I will be completely open with you. I am a Team Alpha Male hater. I don't like Uriah Faber. I don't like Cody Garbrandt. I don't like that crew, and I don't like their cultist bullshit. And I think it's to the detriment of those fighters that it's basically a cult of worship based all around what Uriah Faber says goes. I don't think that's good for a boy in that crew. That being said, they are all talented killers. And Cody Garbrandt is no exception. Coming into this, what was it, either 12-0 or 13-0, 9 wins by knockout. Fucking murderer. There is no more powerful man at bantamweight. Except for maybe TJ Dillashaw, who has erased Renan Barão twice. A lot of people think he actually should have gotten the split decision win over Dominic Cruz. He erased John Lineker. TJ Dillashaw, I'm a huge fan. And TJ, coming into this fight, was doing a lot of this awkward, I don't even know if it was Muay Thai, it almost looked like capoeira. He's holding his hands up really weird, ducking around, showing shit that's even weirder than Dominic Cruz type movement. Until Cody Garbrandt hit him with a fucking right hand at the end of round 1, and that stopped dancing TJ. Now, Cody Garbrandt was so angry. However, I don't think, no matter how arrogant his talking was, that he failed to take TJ Dillashaw seriously, because he did not really start showboating until he started really hitting TJ. And then the showboating was not a whole lot, because TJ was not failing to hit him with kicks. A lot of kicks. Some to the head, a lot to the body, a lot to the leg. However, Cody Garbrandt was throwing a lot of body kicks too. And though Joe Rogan and DC on commentary were kind of trash-talking Cody Garbrandt's game, saying that, oh, he's a boxer, he's a champion boxer. Cody looked like a kickboxer in there to me. He threw no shortage of kicks, and they were good-looking, fast kicks. And boy, were his hands good-looking, fast, and strong. This guy can twist his hip into a punch from no distance. Just like no wind-up, such speed. And he bloodied TJ Dillashaw. And at the end of the round, first round, TJ Dillashaw was wobbly, could barely stand, and was almost certainly saved by the bell. And then round 2, Cody Garbrandt wasn't keeping his hands up tight. And TJ Dillashaw did tighten up his stances. He still kind of loosened back up once he had recovered and was doing more of that weird-ass footwork, jukey, head movement nonsense, twisting his, trying to peekaboo at him. Shit that's way outside of my striking expertise. I don't know what you call any of that shit. I've always been more of a jiu-jitsu guy. But it was good-looking shit. I don't know if it was showboating, confusing, or if there was real technique in it. TJ Dillashaw's way out of my league, mentally as well as physically. And Garbrandt started getting hit a little bit, but he still managed to put some hands on TJ, and then TJ did this, holy shit, fast as fuck, zero wind-up, big left high kick that cracked Garbrandt right in the face, on the right side of his face, and put a bruise like this, like a shoe print in his fucking face. And Garbrandt didn't look wobbly at all. But he must not have been all the way there, because he slowed down just a little bit. And by the end of that round, Dillashaw was ducking, bobbing, and weaving, got under some of those big, tight, big haymaker Garbrandt hooks, and then just wham! Just a big-ass hook right to Garbrandt's face, and Garbrandt just went straight down like a building demolition, and then TJ jumped on him and went, hey, with the hammer fists, and got him out of there. And TJ Dillashaw is now your 2-time bantamweight champion. Once again, shutting up the critics. I don't think the crowd wanted TJ Dillashaw to win, which surprises me because this was in Madison Square Garden, not in Huntington Beach or in Sacramento or any of that shit. It was not in Team Alpha Male hometown. But and TJ Dillashaw is not really a heel at all. So I'm really surprised that there were a lot of boos for him and a lot of cheers for Garbrandt. Now, UFC fans, especially casuals, like heels. They like assholes. They like Colby Covington. They like Conor McGregor. They like a real cunt. And I guess that must have been where a lot of the love for Garbrandt was. But TJ Dillashaw didn't show him no love. And, well, actually he did. Because after the fight was over, he congratulated him, was a super gracious winner to Cody Garbrandt. Although I think somebody in TJ Dillashaw's coaching staff was trash-talking Garbrandt. And might have almost possibly was ejected from the building. They had to get people to come grab him before Cody Garbrandt climbed over the cage and killed him. And he patted Cody Garbrandt and was nice to him and shit, but Cody Garbrandt was very, very angry and doesn't appear to have gained any love for TJ Dillashaw. It was a spectacular finish. And the main event, oh man, okay. Now, the Vegas oddmakers were a little bit wiser to this. However, they had St. Pierre as a slight favorite going into betting. I had Bisping as a little more than a slight favorite. I believe in ring rust. I believe in going up to a weight class, and I believe in Michael the Count Bisping. I know everybody hates Bisping. I fucking love him. I fucking love Bisping. I agree that I think he's ducked real contenders. However, if you think that he didn't beat Anderson Silva, you're retarded and you don't know how scoring works. If you don't think he beat Dan Henderson, you're retarded and you don't know how scoring works. And if you think that beating even an older and past their prime Dan Henderson and older and past their prime Anderson Silva is not impressive, you're retarded. If you think knocking out Luke Rockhold in the first round on 10 days' notice is not impressive, you're retarded. Okay? And you can't duck Robert Whittaker. He's out for months and months and months with an injury. Okay? And Yoel Romero got beat. Fucking everybody else in the Murderer's Row got cleared out because Bisping had a legitimate knee injury. But however, I didn't want him to fight St. Pierre either. But it came out that way because Whittaker got hurt. And in that first round, Bisping lost the first round, but narrowly. He was hitting St. Pierre better than St. Pierre thought he could, and he was getting up after St. Pierre's takedowns. However, St. Pierre did not look like he had ring rust. He was hitting hard. He did not look like a small man at middleweight at all. He looked fucking shredded. Almost roid belly-ish a little bit. Almost like he has too much muscle, but hey, he tested clean as far as I know. And St. Pierre looked strong, but St. Pierre obviously underestimated Bisping. And Bisping came out fresher, faster, and smarter against St. Pierre in the second round. And when St. Pierre finally got a takedown, he didn't look like he had the energy to really do much of passing. Bisping's ground game is incredibly underrated, as is his takedown defense and as is his defensive guard. And he turned St. Pierre into a horror show by the midpoint of that second round because his elbows coming up, he cut the fucking shit out of St. Pierre with elbows from the bottom. And he looked like his guard was a lot better than St. Pierre's top game. However, Bisping got cracked going later on, and I think this was still in the second round. You'll have to forgive my memory even though I just watched it, but it was either early in the third. I believe it was actually the end of the second because St. Pierre was still really badly bloodied. But St. Pierre kicked him in the fucking face, and then hit him in the fucking face, and then climbed on his back and put on... Bisping is still a tough guy and a fighter's fighter because he didn't tap. He got turned purple by the world's tightest fucking rear naked choke. It was almost like a reverse fucking angel choke. Just fucking X'd under the throat. Both carotid arteries compressed by two different hands. And he choked Bisping unconscious. And to my surprise, although probably not to the surprise of any casuals, and to probably a lot of people who are big fans, true fans of the sport, GSP is your new middleweight champion. GSP looked good. His cardio looked like dog shit compared to what it used to be. And I don't think it was just the fact that he was carrying a lot of muscles. He looked like he cut down to 85. He didn't look like he just showed up. No, he looked like he cut down. He looked huge. He was not as long as Bisping, even though he had the half-inch reach advantage. Bisping is taller and fights longer than St. Pierre, and St. Pierre fights really long. And this was a war of jabs, yeah, but if this fight had gone to the third, I wouldn't have given St. Pierre a chance in hell of winning this fight. He was cut badly. He was gassed at the start of the second, which is unheard of for GSP. He's carrying a lot of muscle. He clearly didn't have the same cardio he used to. He used to have that insane, just insurmountable cardio that Bisping still has at almost 40 years old, and St. Pierre does not. Okay, but St. Pierre's technique was all there. He had new wrinkles to his game, new shine to his kicks. He really was using some sick Kyokushin karate-style shit in there that still looked great. His jab looked as menacing as ever, and his takedown ability was still all there. And he choked the life out of Bisping. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bisping retired, because he's beaten up. He's nothing if not tough. But, you know, that knee surgery, the fact that he's been fighting with one eye for a decade. And fucking, I don't think Bisping's got any more in him, unless they do a rematch. And I sincerely hope St. Pierre takes on a comer at middleweight. I would still love to see St. Pierre fight Woodley. I think that's a bad matchup for Woodley. I think it's a terrible matchup for Woodley. However, if St. Pierre doesn't tighten up his cardio and maybe get a little bit leaner and a little bit less hulky muscly and train a little bit better, Woodley will kick St. Pierre's ass. Okay, don't give me that casual bullshit. Woodley will just... And I hate Woodley, okay? I would root for St. Pierre to win that fight like I rooted for Bisping to beat St. Pierre. I hate Woodley, but Woodley would destroy the St. Pierre you saw tonight. It would fucking destroy him. Fucking just either spank his ass for 5 rounds or knock him out in the second. That St. Pierre don't have no fucking chance. So he might want to think twice about leaving middleweight right now. Because welterweight is a different division right now. Welterweight is a killer's row in the top 25. Okay? There are men who should be ranked who are not. And the men who are ranked deserve to be there. This ain't like heavyweight or light heavyweight where it's a clown car of overhyped guys. Alright? He shouldn't cut. But hey, I was shocked. I was wrong in almost every prediction I made. You know, I had Anderson to beat OSP. I was wrong. I had Jan Jacek to beat Namajunas. I was wrong. I had Costa to beat Hendricks, even though I had no idea who Costa was, because I don't think Hendricks has got it anymore. I was right. I actually had Dillashaw to beat Garbrandt by the skin of his fucking teeth, and it was a lot more by the skin of his teeth that he fucking finished him. However, I did not have a lot of confidence in that pick, and I would not have been at all surprised if Garbrandt had knocked Dillashaw out, and who knows how a rematch would go between those two. It'd be another fucking barnstormer. And I had Bisping to beat St. Pierre, and Bisping was winning until he got cracked and choked unconscious. Okay? So, I didn't do a good job on predictions. I recommend fucking buying this even if you know how the whole thing went down. This was a spectacular fight card. And it was worth the $60 price of admission for me, watching on pay-per-view. And I wish I had gotten a chance to watch it live. I didn't, but it was fucking phenomenal. And I hope you enjoyed this. There was not a snoozer on this. I think only 1 or 2 fights on the whole fucking shebang went to decision. This was a slaughter fest. Shocking knockouts, amazing upsets, slick submissions. This was good shit, ladies and gentlemen. Do watch. Do stay tuned. The next free fight card coming up next week on Saturday is a Murderer's Row again. You should be tuning in, or at least DVRing like I do. Thanks for watching.